Thank you. We got one!
Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Nerdy Up North podcast. It's the Nerdy Podcast, hosted by two Northern nerds. I'm one of your hosts, Sam.
And I'm the other host, Paul. And we are joined.
And we're joined by
Sorry.
I'm just singing.
No, it's fine. So Sam's took the glasses already. Yeah. So we're joined by a special guest this week, the lovely Martin from the Facebook page. He's been posting quite a lot, and he's with the topic this week. I thought it would be quite interesting to get Martin involved because it's one of our big favourites. I know Sam basically loves this film, as Michaela keeps telling us that she won't stop watching the film. We're talking all things Ghostbusters. So, and we haven't got Sam singing to us yet, so that'll probably happen a little bit later on.
Who are you going to call? Ray Parker.
Before we start, Sam, I've got a question for you. Do you believe in UFOs, astral projections, mental telepathy, ESP, clairvoyance, spirit photography, telekinetic movement, full transmedium, the Loch Ness Monster, and the theory of Atlantis?
If it has a steady paycheck, I'll believe in anything.
I think you've just got nerd points there, Sam. Well done.
Because I'm absolutely mint, and I know that film back to front, inside out, and around the back.
Yeah, you know the wife we're quoting it. It's like every line, yeah.
Mate, nobody will watch it with me anymore because I quote it. Even before the line comes out, I quote it.
Yeah.
No one else can watch it with us anymore.
Yes, Alice, are you currently menstruating right now?
So, as you can probably tell, Martin's a little bit of a aficionado towards all things that go bump in the night, shall we say. If you want to just tell us a little bit about yourself and give us your nerdy credentials, shall we say?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, well, Martin, I'm 39 from Chorley, Lancashire. So Sammy's the baby of the group. She's finally the baby of the chat.
Oh my God!
You know, after all this time, yeah, you are the baby. You've always, for all these years, you've been like feeling like you've been aging rapidly, but now you're the baby.
God, I love that.
Yeah, I'm an 82 baby as well. Born in 82. Same year as E.T. So that film holds a special place in my heart. Yeah, from Lancashire, born and bred here, and yeah, generally just kind of have a huge kind of passion for things like Ghostbusters, Gremlins, 80s movies like yourself, Paul.
Yes.
Music, mainly kind of rock music, you know, classic rock music. Generally, yeah, just 80s, yeah, 80s music is 80s movies and music, and 90s as well. You know, like your Space Jams, your Home Alones. They're classics as well. Jurassic Park, yeah, like a whole those movies hold a special place in my heart as well. Listen to your podcast again, but yeah, Ghostbusters, and mainly just like I say, yeah, just animation. Big Disney fan as well. Stop motion animation, as I was talking to Charlotte the other day. Nerd of the month as well. Well played, Queen Charlotte. Always Queen Charlotte. So yeah, just generally kind of like I say, love kind of like massive 80s and 90s guy, and yeah, just mainly like Ghostbusters, Gremlins, a lot of British comedies as well, brought up on a lot of that, like Bottom, Phoenix Nights, yeah.
No, it's interesting you're saying, like I say, I've been with a fan of the podcast, which again blows my head. I can't believe that we've actually got fans. But
you found me.
But how did you actually come across the podcast? Because you weren't originally a member of the Facebook group. You found the Facebook group through the podcast. So how did you actually find us?
Yeah, it was basically looking through Nerd, and I think it was one of my friends that kind of recommended. They were saying like they've been listening. I'm not sure if they're on the group or not, but and I was just like, I was looking obviously for. I think he was talking about I can't remember if it was the top 5 video games, something like that. And I started listening, and then I just picked up from there. And obviously, plus I think it's also as well. It recommended because I'm a big fan of I don't know if I can swear on this, but Shag Married Annoyed.
Yeah, so you can swear as much as you want.
I'm a huge fan of Chris and Rosie Ramsey. Right. Who were like neighbours of yours. I know you're Mackhams, but yeah, I know
they're from Shields, so the Sandances, so they're still not too far.
But it recommended you as well because of things I listened to, and then from then it was like came onto the Facebook page, and yeah, because they're Geordies, I think it recommended that local area as well. And and that's how I got into it. So thank Chris and Rosie Ramsey and just being a nerd in general. Yeah,
that is crazy.
Yeah,
I went to see them the other week.
Yeah,
are they good? Because we're going watching them in December.
Honestly, you're in for an absolute tickle fest. It is just honestly, start to finish, you'll not stop laughing. Like my insides were hurt.
Nice. I've got the book and the hoodie and stuff. Yeah. So
well, it was a few months ago when the book came out. Chris and Rosie used to go shopping in the local Asda next hours, and they were actually signing all the books. And Rosie was going, "You can't be doing that. It's graffiti. How can you be graffitiing? It's my own fucking book."
But then Carl Hutchison, friend of the podcast as well, he went and signed a copy, didn't he? Sort of in Asda, he went into the same one, yeah.
But yes, I've always tried to pick, but they've just moved into Northumberland into a mansion now, so I'll not be bumming into them anytime soon.
No, they've moved up in the world. God bless them, because they are worth it. They are absolute. Honestly, you are in for an absolute treat when you go and see them. It is
the video
so good.
So
really good. Shall we get into Ghostbusters?
Yes. So Sam's the one that's keeping us in track this week. So normally it's me. So well done, Sam.
I'm going to quickly throw out my disclaimer just to get it out there, because I always have to say it, that all these opinions are all our own, and if you don't like them, well, on this subject, tough shit if you don't like them. Basically, no, I'm only kidding. If you don't agree with us, please come and catch us on Facebook or on the YouTube comments. We're more than happy to have a conversation with you, because what we want to do is just keep the toxicity out of fandoms. Open said it. Get in.
Yes, you got it. You nailed it.
But that's the thing.
I'm thinking of this System of a Down song now.
Toxicity, but yeah, it's one of them great things. The Facebook group again still keeps on growing. It's just hit over 3,200 members this month, which again, me starting this idea of just basically trying to talk about nerdy things to stop us from being bored and not going to the pub as much, is grown into this community, which is, like I say, just blows us away every day. But yes, so we're going to talk about one of my favourite subjects, one of Sam's, and I'm guessing one of Martin's with everything behind him, Ghostbusters. The big part it played on, like say, our lives and growing up. Because I know we've talked about it in the past. I think it was in our top. Was it in the top 5 80s movies? That was
my all-time favorite.
It was.
Yes,
movie.
That was first episode.
The first podcast we did. Yeah. So funny story about that. We had actually filmed that twice, because the first time it didn't even record. So that was a.
Was that because you were going on about The Crow for too long?
Possibly.
You ran out of film.
Yes, but I'll be interested in, like, say, how you got introduced to Ghostbusters, Martin, and how big a part it played when you grew up, or did it play a big part?
Yeah, I mean, obviously being born in '82, it was kind of I was only a couple of years old, but I think I was about '84. I think it was actually the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. I kind of saw it on the TV, and it was just because he's so cute and cuddly. I know he's a destructor, but seeing him on the TV, it was instantly kind of mesmerised by it. And then when my mum bought me the VHS, and the VHS, God, for all the kids out there, it's a tape you used to have to rewind when you take it back to a video shop.
Yes, or the man in the van.
Yeah. Bit of blue foot down, bit of blue Alan. So it was seeing the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, and then we used to watch it, and it was funny because my cousin we used to watch it with my cousin, and she used to run out of when the Grey Lady transforms, the Get Her scene. It was like she always used to run out, but it never scared me away. It was always, like I say, the fascination of the tools and and just like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, the ghosts, Slimer, and the ghost of John Belushi and all that kind of thing. And it was just like, and then the music, I think the theme, I remember going to like a disco and wore out the record because they played the Ray Parker Jr. theme that much for me and a friend. And it was like, so it was that, the whole sounds and the sights and the ghosts. I mean, a lot of the jokes obviously only got as I got older, Venkman's to Dana, where it's like, I want you inside me. And he says, there's 2 of you already. I don't think there's room for one more. And it's like things like that. I think that was the layers of it. What I love as you get older, you kind of you see things you don't realize as you're a kid. But yeah, it was seeing the ghosts, hearing the theme, which is iconic, and just loving and just appreciating it as I've got older and older, and seeing it at the cinema later on in life. That in 2009 got to see the original '84 print, because the spores, molds, and fungus scene, it actually crackled and skipped a frame, and then saw it again 2 years ago for the 35th anniversary. So that's where I kind of got into it, just seeing the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. Sorry for waffling, but
no, it's good to hear.
Slimer, and hearing the theme, yeah.
Well, it's interesting seeing the adult jokes in it as well, because I remember watching Ghostbusters. I think when it came out on Blu-ray, they had the scene in that was cut out. I think originally with the Dan Aykroyd getting a blowjob off the ghost, because I don't think that was in the original cuts that came out in the UK, or it definitely wasn't on the TV.
It was just as an extended. Yeah, they've released a 35th anniversary Blu-ray where they've got the Fort Detmering scene and the scene where it's a bit more extended, where he gets a blowjob. He's kind of in the castle at Fort Detmering. Yeah.
Nice.
Keep the classic.
Yeah.
Dan Aykroyd.
Well, yeah, that's weird, isn't it? Watching it as a kid, seeing him, not realizing he was getting a ghost blowjob.
Not getting it in the slightest. It's funny you mentioned about the ghost. Michaela would not, as a kid, stay in the room when the lady screamed. She would have to. She knew it was coming. She would just have to get up, leave, and then come back in later. There's two things that used to scare Michaela. That was one of them, and Psycho is the second one. She is terrified of it.
I've always said, though, if you take out the jokes and the comedy aspect out of Ghostbusters, you would have a fucking scary horror film when it comes to it. Because I know, Dan Aykroyd went on record and said he's a big believer in, the paranormal.
His
and
dad,
has a family history.
His grandfather is part of the psychic, community, not psychic, but you know what I mean, paranormal community in good old Canada,
Boot. But yes, like I say, the elements in there, it was especially weird because I remember it used to be on ITV when I was a kid, because when it came out in 1984. Yeah, it was. I wasn't lucky enough to see the pictures. I was when I went to see Ghostbusters 2, but again, we'll come up to that one in a few moments. But it just, all the elements kind of worked, and as you said, the music is iconic, but I think the soundtrack and whole, well, it's an 80s film, so the soundtrack was always going to be quite pivotal and strong. Everything kind of grabs you, and even the characters in it are engaging. I know Bill Murray's I say, a comedy genius when it comes to certain roles, but Peter Venkman felt like it was made for him, even though it kind of wasn't in a way.
Kind of was, kind of wasn't, but Harold Ramis for me is the comedy genius in that movie. The timing of the man, the lines that he has, Bill Murray is amazing, and Pete Venkman is one of, if not my favorite characters, but Harold Ramis, just, if you I watched it yesterday. Sorry, Michaela, but I did watch it yesterday. When I watched it, I didn't appreciate him at all. Because you're so focused on the high energy that Bill Murray brings, that you're not paying attention to how fucking hilarious Harold Ramis actually is.
He does more with his face than what he says at times as well. His facial expressions, he's very dead.
It's a dry delivery, where he's just I collect spores, molds, and fungus, and it's just the way. I think Rick Moranis deserves a lot of credit as well.
Yes. Yeah. I beg. I know there's a lot of people coming back for the afterlife. I hope they've got him in a way that would be the top for me. I'll probably cry if he comes back.
You know what, though? It's awful that he's come out of retirement and he's just signed up to a deal with Disney for Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and he can't come back for even just a small cameo to say Lewis is still here, because he is such a huge part of that franchise. I know I'd never say his name right. It's Lewis.
I think he will. I think he is, because he only come out of the woodwork when this was getting made again. Because he done that advert.
And he did it, He did that advert with Ryan Reynolds last year,
I think it's just going to be one of them sequences because they've showed a lot in the trailers. Like Janine's coming back as well. I know we're probably skipping ahead with the conversation, but like I say, I'm so excited.
But you've got the Plasma series figures as well. You know, you've got like the older Venkman, older Winston, and older Peter. Yeah, older Ray as well. Yeah. So
we all knew Ray was coming back. There's no way Dan Aykroyd was not involved in this.
I love the Leviathan tattoo though. The Leviathan quote he has on his tattooed on his wrist at the end of Afterlife trailer. Like that's a really nice touch. Yeah, and just his occult books. He's still running occult books.
Have you heard the online, not rumors, but the online theory about the house?
I'm not sure about the house.
That's meant to be haunted by someone.
Oh.
That's meant to be haunted by... Sam's earphones fell out.
I didn't want to hear any spoilers, but I didn't mean to pull my headphone out, so I couldn't hear anything at all. Sorry.
You've already kind of had your theory, which I agree with about. I think Mr. Gruberson's going to be... He's going to be the keymaster.
Yeah.
Who?
I think Mr. Gruberson will be Paul Rudd. Yeah.
Oh, right.
Well, if you watch the trailer again, he gets chased by a pterodon outside Walmart.
Yeah, but I think the house is going to be haunted by Egon. You know, when they've relieved...
Yeah, a little cameo,
Yeah, well, when it shows you the trailer and it shows you a little trap starting to open, I don't think that's traps. I think that's him showing her, open this door, open that bit kind of thing. I do think that the ghost of Egon is very present in that house. Let's go back, just stay with the first one.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Just a little bit longer. Just a little bit longer. I used to have it on VHS as well, but I had 1 and 2 on a double feature VHS.
I've got it. The gold frame. Yes.
Oh my God. Does it have Batman in the middle of it? An episode of Batman, Adam West Batman?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I got it from, it was one of them, I can't remember if it was it was one of them old music shops, the independent ones.
Music Zone or something.
Music Zone, it was. Music Zone in Wigan. Yeah. I got Drop Dead Fred from there as well, yeah.
God, that was everything, like, because it was 1 and 2, so if I was putting it on, they were both going on. And I would even watch the Adam West Batman episode that was in the middle of it that separated the two. That I wore that videotape out. And then I moved on to DVD. I think I've had it in DVD form. God, I can't count how many times now.
I've still got them all, yeah. My wife's like, why'd you keep buying it on the same form? It's the same film. I'm like, you've got to.
Because I remember getting different ways, that's why.
It comes with different extras. There's like a green one where it has like a Staples booklet. And
I haven't bought just the 4K print on Ghostbusters yet. I've still got the Blu-rays on Steelbook, but I missed out on the Zavvi releases with the 4K. And if you look on CAX, the price of them is stupid enough.
Oh, yeah.
But that's the ones I keep. I did get Answer the Call on Steelbook in 4K, but like I say, we'll come back to that one as well. But yeah, like I say, to myself, Ghostbusters, as I said, it was a state of Sunday morning or Saturday morning TV used to get sticked on. Used to sit there fascinated. Like first things that you do, you get caught up in the music, that catchy tune, and the colours they use as well. And it's the first time that type of special effects that you see, even though when you watch like shows like film, how they made movies, how they made them and stuff like that, the special effects are amazing for what they had to do and go through to get to do. And the whole, like say, John Belushi being Slimer was a nice little touch, because I believe he was meant to be Venkman, wasn't he, originally?
So I don't think he was Venkman, but I think he was in replace of Bill Murray. I don't think his character was Venkman, because it was Belushi, Dan Aykroyd, and Eddie Murphy. They were the three main ones. And then you had John Candy as Louis Tully, and he dropped out because of creative differences. He saw himself as a German with 2 schnauzers.
Yeah.
And I think Ivan Reitman was like, no.
We've already got 2 dogs in the movie. It wouldn't make sense, yeah.
Don't need 2 schnauzers. So yeah, he went for creative differences. Obviously, Eddie Murphy had commitment issues with another film. I don't
think they could afford him after they got Bill Murray. They couldn't afford him, I don't think. think
Bill
that's
Murray
what
only
they said.
did originally, yeah. Well,
was-
the budget originally for the first one was insane as well, because like there was like loads of different busting teams, and they were going to different dimensions, and yeah, it was stupidly over budget. So Ivan Reitman and Harold Ramis had to rein it in.
Well, I watched they had the big massive Ghostbusters day in America a couple of years ago, 2019, I think.
Yeah,
and
35.
I watched an interview with Ivan Reitman, and what's his son called again? Jason,
Yeah.
Yeah, and I watched the interview, but it was Jason interviewing his dad, and he was saying that they literally just kept cutting the date of when it needed to be out by. So it just kept either cutting the budget or increasing it slightly or cutting it slightly. The date just kept getting smaller and smaller.
Yeah.
And that was such a good interview. If anyone has a chance to watch it on YouTube, it was so interesting. Like father and son, like first and then the most recent one, and them talking about their ideas and such. And it was really fascinating. Very good watch.
So, like I say, with that, I know it came out. I think it came out not long after. I think it was only a few years after the real Ghostbusters, the cartoon. I checked this out the other day, and I didn't realize how many seasons this show got.
Yeah, got the box set now, and you can buy it from Amazon. It's like 50 quid. It's like a German version, but you've got English audio. Yeah, and then they did the real Slimer and the real Ghostbusters, which was terrible. Yeah, it was more of a kid-friendly version.
Yeah,
because you watch the real Ghostbusters now, it's quite frightening. The real Ghostbusters, like you've got Sandman and the Sandman and the Boogeyman, and some of those characters are quite frightening for a cartoon.
I got a little bit confused when I first watched the cartoons as well, just because the look of the characters, they kind of switched them up a bit, because Wakeman kind of looked like Dan Aykroyd. Dan Aykroyd's character kind of looked like Bill Murray, and then, like, say, give Egon bleach blonde white hair, which, again, I don't know if there was any issues.
Pilot, yeah. It was a pilot originally kind of had Bill Murray looked a bit more like, Venkman looked a bit more like Bill Murray. And then, they kind of changed it to where he's got the kind of Elvis-style quiff.
I know I definitely watched it, but I genuinely can't remember watching it. I had to have watched it because it's where my toy collection came from. Like, I've been a collector for many, many moons, but it rided off the back of my older cousin, who was, into Star Wars and Transformers and He-Man, and whatever he was in, I was into. And then real Ghostbusters came, and then my action figures came into play, and that's where my collection started from. The most devastating day of my life was the day my mum emptied my toy cupboard.
Yeah.
The lot. The day we moved house, we moved from the street I'm in right now to the street where my mum and dad are in. They cleaned everything, every inch of my Ghostbuster figures, and everything went. It was heartbreaking.
Yeah, my mum and dad sold them at the car boot sale.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, Firehouse.
I don't think I would feel so bad if she sold them, because at least I know that when they were home, she chucked them.
Oh.
When it comes to, like, say, it's good that you, like, say, good moving on to that point. I was going to bring up the action figures, because the action figures for the real Ghostbusters were the most interesting at the time. They were like the cartoon, but different as well. Like, they all came with a little, like, see-through ghost that you could put on Ghostbusters' head for some reason, and a little pot of slime.
Why not?
They all came with a pot of slime.
And the proton packs all had an actual attachment of the
the trigger you pressed. Yeah,
I had quite a
because when they first came out the range, there was a few ghosts that went with them that were interactive. They had a skeleton where you put the Ghostbuster on, and the skeleton head went over them, and the rib cage kind of caught them.
It was a policeman.
It
was a policeman, and you unlocked him, and he just fell apart.
Yeah, his body came up to do a face. There was the ones that went in the bath that was coming in 3 pieces, where it filled with water and you used to squirt out their eyeballs, I think it was.
The goo ones, yeah. Then you had like the fright features, and then you had like the monsters, like the Mailer Demon, Granny Gross, Tombstone Tackle.
Oh, the Granny, Jesus Christ, the Granny.
Granny
I
Ghost.
forgot about
Fierce
her.
and Flusher. Yeah, the toilet, Fierce and Flusher. Then you had the Beetle, which became Marie the Mantis.
Yes, I
as
got
well.
that when I got my tonsils out. So when I went to hospital to get my tonsils out, my mum and dad bought us that one. I think I asked for Echo 1, but I think Echo 1 was too expensive at the time, so they went to the Beetle.
That was the one item I never got, was Ector 1. I don't know why. I remember my mum's best friend's son having it, and like the first thing I would go and grab when I was at his house, I'd just take that and try to sneak it. It never worked. I was devastated. I never, but I tell you what I did. I had the firehouse, yeah. But what I also had, which a lot of, I don't think you guys might have had, I had a Ghostbuster Wendy house.
Right. Never even knew that
So
existed.
I had, yes. So traditional Wendy house is just poles and a bit of plastic over the top. Mine was the actual fire station with ghosts on the side of it. My sister can remember it, and she has generally looked for it for us. But yeah, I had a Ghostbuster.
I'm gonna have to see some images of this because I can't remember that.
Yeah, was it custom made?
Oh, probably not. We were poor.
I was going to say, anyone that's not in the north that's watching this podcast, us northerners aren't all thieves and robbers. Just to get that out there, we don't steal from friends and family. Just to get that stereotype out of the way there. But no, I had the Ghostbusters, like the firehouse as well. And like I say, I remember the day my dad brought it in the box and putting it together. Once you put it together, it was never coming back apart.
Oh yeah,
that was well made, I have to admit. But
having to slot the feet into the pole, you had to kind of
and it's around.
And the
what I
was
going to say about the mantis though as well, because once you pop the mantis out, it was the biggest pain in the arse to ever put back together. Literally, it would, once you popped it into the mantis shape, it never went totally back fully into car shape. That one was one of the poor ones.
Well, it's like a bloody transformer all over. I used to hate my
Optimus Prime. Yeah, Optimus Prime. Yeah.
I absolutely despised him because you could never ever get him back into place. Even if you got like so far, there'd be one piece that would just not fit in.
With Optimus Prime as well, you always used to lose the hands. That was the thing. Every time I used to get the hands because it didn't because he used to take them off. You used to always lose them, but that was always my bugbear as a kid. I used to hate losing bits. I used to have to keep it. I was very, very weird with toys. All the bits had to stay in the right place, otherwise it used to drive us nuts. And
I can't remember being that bad with me toys, but I would be now. Like I'd be very like I won't take Jar Jar out because I'm scared I'm gonna lose his shield. So he stays right there. Like I get why people collect in boxes now, if that makes sense. Like I wouldn't have a few years ago. He would have been straight out and generally would be playing them. But no. I understand the collector side of it now.
When I got the Kenner re-releases last year, I've kept them in the box because the box is nostalgic as well.
Yes,
that's the thing.
Is.
You know, the blue packaging.
Yeah,
definitely. It's always on my list of when Zavvi have like a sale. I always put it in the basket, but for some reason, they're always missing one.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
I'm not
it's not a full collection. Like I'm not. It's either Ray or Egon. They've either not got one or the other, and I'm like, no, I would rather wait. They're going to be there. Ghostbusters is having an absolute like revamp on their product, like on their collection at the moment. I know they had
some of the merchandise is unbelievable when you see them coming out.
Oh my god! Did you see
ones that are re-release?
Yes, it has. Oh my god, who did it?
Kenner. Well, Kenner have Kenner have re-released it. Hasbro basically have released it. Yeah, they've released it under the Kenner name. Yeah.
They've brought out a load of figures as well for the new film for Afterlife, and I can't.
Features, yeah.
That's it. Thank you. God, that would have done my.
Because you've got Muncher, you've got a Muncher one, you've got a Slimer, and you've got a Stay Puft, and they've done the Ghost Popper that they did as a kid as well. Love the Ghost Popper with the little foam things that fired.
Yes, I used to have that. Going,
Just to pump
like
it
say-
like that at the back, didn't you? Yeah.
yes, used to make the horrible sound, but these little foam pads that used to fire out as well. I think like my favorite toy I ever had was Ghostbusters. We talked about in like one of the podcasts earlier. Was the Proton Pack. Like my best
Yes.
Halloween night ever was going out dressed as a Ghostbuster, having the badge around my arm.
Somebody
and having the
screaming
pack
at
on.
you.
Yep, a vampire. Me running up to a vampire,
Yeah.
then me running away crying after a vampire hissed at us was a memory that I still live with in fear now.
And the PK meter always read 0.44.
Yes.
It had the same, yeah. And then you had
Yes,
the foot
it
pedal for the trap.
Yes, you did. Oh my God. This is my little weird thing of childhood memories. I can still remember how they feel. And I remember that hard plastic, because it was like kind of hollow inside, but I can still remember how that plastic. It's so weird. It's like I can still feel felt of some of my She-Ra figures.
The foam beam, the foam stream. And the way the little, and it was annoying though, the kind of cable where you'd attach the pipe that you'd attach the Neutrona one to the Proton Pack. It always used to get a kink in it after a while.
Yes, it did.
The yellow cable, the yellow pipe, and
But,
yes.
I'm trying to think as well, because I remember there was two traps. There was the one that actually opened, and there was one that just played the music. And I think one of my friends got the one that played the music, and I just laughed at him. I went, "That's not even a good trap." So I was a bit mean as I think.
Your trap is shit.
Yeah, it doesn't open up. It's not going to catch any ghosts.
No, that music playing, it's not.
And the noise the trigger used to make when you pressed it was always that revving noise when you press the trigger. The air, vroom, 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 like several times. Yeah.
Sorry, that made myself laugh. What were we talking about? Sorry, it was toys. Collections.
It was the toys, the collections. As we can see, Martin's got quite a few Stay Puft Marshmallow Mans there.
And the Ecto ones in the back, like they're awesome.
And then knocking over.
You mentioned the incense burner.
Yes. I've seen that, but I can't justify the price.
Yeah, it's a lot of bones for what it does.
So
We're clearly not hardcore collectors here, Paul, mind.
I know if I come in with like say going to Nick, look what I bought today. How much was that? I just get the look of doom. So, but yeah, I did notice that they brought out a few extra cool little gadgets like the incense burner. So it looks like there's actually smoke coming out of it.
Yeah, they've got they've got a light up.
Your back cabinet. When you watch this back, you will notice how much that back cabinet is just rocked.
Yeah.
But yeah, and they brought out
I'm here.
They brought out a light as well. I think it's about this big, where it's actually the Ghostbusters sign.
Got it.
I think that was about.
Yeah.
Got it. It's just tick.
This is when Ghostbusters gets obsession there.
You know what though? If I'd had any sense and not wasted, what's he doing?
It's got the it's in the background, the light. I'll have to get it out after, but yeah. Anyway, as we were saying,
awesome. You just got us really nervous because every time you were moving, your back cabinet kept shaking, and I was like, if they go, I think I might cry.
Yeah, because that's the Lego Exo one.
Yes. I've got the mini one. I've got the little one. Yeah.
Paul, we've got no stake in this collection game, mine. Not on this one.
But saying that though, because I know there was so I've got the newer versions of the Funko Pops Ghostbusters, but when the original 4 came out, like I say, it was about 4 or 5 years ago. You can still get the others like the Rare and stuff, but the one that's absolutely crazy in price was Egon. As soon as Egon passed, like I say, Howard Ramis, who passed away, the prices for that went absolutely like talking over 100 quid.
It's always the case. I mean, the Lord of the Rings figures that I got not long ago, which were no more than around £11, and now trebled in price because the bloody TV show's coming out. When something is about to hit, or somebody passes, the price of it just starts straight up.
Certainly. But it's one of them things. Like, I'm always keeping an eye out. I know I'm tempted with the new figures that they're bringing out, the glow in the dark ones. That got mentioned with, like, looks like they've got slime on, but with the proton packs and stuff of the original 4.
The Hasbro Pulse, yeah.
Did Sideshow Collectibles release something, or am I just making that up?
There's been a Spengler's wand from the new film. They've done a ghost trap. Yeah. It's basically, it's the one that Phoebe finds. It's got like a little bandage around it, around the handle, yeah.
Fantastic name. I love it. Love it.
Yeah. So, like, the thing is, though, with these, because there's been that many, I know there was the Crystal Collection box. I got the Demon Dog, the Devil Dog, as part of that as well. I think I've got the library ghost over there as well, hiding in the corner.
She doesn't get enough credit as a ghost.
Oh, it's one of the most terrifying scenes in, like, say, in movies going forward. It's one of the best jump scares.
And the love that it's practical.
It's practical. I was just going to say that. That's the best part about it.
Slimer as well, yeah, and Mr. Stay Puft.
And the levitation of Dana is done with a bloody pole shoved in the back of her dress, and she's like a ghost just being turned around.
Family friendly entertainment there, Sam, shall we say?
I don't know how else to describe the way that she's being turned on her bloody pole. But yes, practical effects, and I love watching the making of the, when they're showing you how they do Stay Puft in the. He's just a tiny little thing.
Yeah.
He's just a tiny little thing, and he's being moved around like that. Just like I would if I was playing with him.
Full scale, like, costume, but with it in the suit. But then, like, if you get the chance, watch Cleaning Up the Town. It's a great documentary, fan made, and it's about 50. You can get it on Blu-ray, but it's such a great watch. And they talk about how they kind of had to get an Italian stuntman in to play Stay Puft when they burn the suit when he's climbing up Spook Central. It's like, because the suit is like, basically that suit, as soon as it melted, it was insane how hot. Yeah.
You can see it.
I'm sure I saw a clip for some reason, because I know it never made the film and stuff, but it might have been just like an add-on, but they had the actual Stay Puft hat floating down, but it was like made out of material, and like say it was life size and stuff like that. But if Stay Puft was all made of marshmallow, I don't know why that would be thought that could be material. That just never made sense when I saw that clip there.
And they got a bollocking as well about that as well, because there's a bit where Stay Puft, with a zapping, where they're like they hose him down with the proton streams. You see his neckerchief's missing,
right? And
it's never been kind of edited back in. So the guys who were behind, Stay Puft, basically, who were creating him, the team, they basically just got a bollocking because, like, they didn't put the neckerchief on him when he's getting blasted.
Wow, it's a bit harsh. Like I say, we never noticed that. Like, probably.
Well, now I will.
Yes, true.
You will, yeah.
Now it's been pointed out.
Can we move on to the second one? Because I don't think this film gets as much credit as what it deserves. I absolutely love it just as much as I love the first one. I'm not going to say more. I just love it. It's just, there's nothing to hate about that movie.
I think this one is one of the things where a lot of the films in the 80s or later were ahead of the time. I think this one's a similar type of vein. As you watch it when you're getting older, it does get a little bit better. Because when I watched it as a kid, I didn't quite, because it didn't have as many kid type elements. It's more of an adult's one for me, because it's quite scary. Yeah. Like it has got a lot of scary elements.
The Pier 34 scene, the Pier 34, the Titanic just arrived. Like, I still shit myself now. Like, if you saw that, you would just freeze in terror of the ghost passengers leaving. Yeah,
I love that sequence. I love when all the ghosts are and the fur coat comes alive. And
the
mink
coat, that still scares me when it kind of starts screeching and the woman throws it off and it runs down the street. Yeah.
Well, the opening sequence when the baby cart goes nuts and zooms off, it's terrifying.
Yeah.
Them twins are terrifying.
Yes.
Them twins are absolutely terrifying. There is something about them too that terrifies us. And he is my morbid thing for this episode. one of them passed away recently.
They did. I think it was Hank, if I remember correctly.
So I follow, and I can't recommend this podcast enough. Yes, Have Some. They are my favorite podcast. I talk to Abby on a regular, well, I hound her on a regular basis and she talks back. But she's a lovely person. I found them through a documentary on Ghostbuster fans called Ghost Heads.
Yeah.
And it's not great. It isn't.
No.
Like it really makes Abby out to be I don't want to say weird, but they make it, it's like they don't get the fact that she's not an alcoholic because of fandom. They kind of focus in on the fact that she became she decided to stop drinking because of Ghostbusters. That's not the case at all.
Yeah.
I follow. Oh yes, and I totally get where she's coming from. It's just not put across that way. But the podcast is absolutely phenomenal. Like these guys are not just. I think I've mentioned them a few times on here. Actually, they are collectors, like hardcore collectors. Like Abby at the moment is in New York Comic-Con. She just flew out today with the rest of them because there is a Ghostbuster panel there. That's the only reason they're going.
New York Comic-Con, with the cast and crew on tomorrow.
They had the surviving twin on the podcast not long after his brother had passed. For suicide prevention. And it was such a good episode.
Yeah.
He's such a good podcast. I can't recommend them enough.
If you like them as well, because they did a kind of crossover podcast with Chris and Troy, who do the interdimensional cross rip.
Troy's t-shirt design he did for what was it for Afterlife? Did you see with the mini stick? How amazing was that design? I hate the fact we live in the UK sometimes because, and they also had special for their 5-year anniversary. They created their own little mini ghosts that you used to get with the figures.
All right.
An exclusive YHS mini ghosts. It's honestly, Paul. You can find them on YouTube. You can find them on iTunes.
I
do think I follow them on Instagram as well, so I do see a lot of this stuff.
And Troy wrote a book as well, about the X-Mobile.
Yeah, such a hardcore Ghostbuster fan base that gets you excited about the franchise because it is a franchise that can be lost within fandom because there's no rhyme or reason for all of us to love it the way that we do. There really isn't. But for some reason, it has that connection to the nerd in you that you can't not fall in love with it.
Yeah, I think it's because it ticks all the boxes. And again, I know we talked about the first film. This one equally has one of the greatest soundtracks, as well.
Bobby Brown.
As soon as the Statue of Liberty starts walking, you can't help but tapping your toes and start singing along with her as well.
Every time you hear that song, you think of the toaster as well. Yeah.
Jack Wilson.
The only thing, again, because I know I was talking to Martin about it the other day. I was rewatching the last 2 days. Peter Venkman changes in Ghostbusters 2. I don't know if you has noticed it. He's not as part of the team, shall we say? He doesn't. It's like Ghostbusters and him. He's ostracises himself a little bit.
Like he doesn't go down the sewers. Yeah.
No. He's got his TV show. He's got the life that I think he always wanted because I think he likes the idea of science. He just doesn't want to put the work in. He'd rather have someone else do it for him and then him just take all the credit for it. And that's what Ray was to him. Ray was his work guy. Egon was he's making sure all the theories were right. And he just sat and took back and took credit for it. Do you know what? Before we go any further, we didn't mention from the first one, the bestest bad guy ever, Walter Peck. Come on.
This man has no peace.
Oh, William Atherton's fantastic. And he's return in the video game as well was excellent.
Yes, so good. And I just absolutely love the fact that when he gets dumped with that marshmallow at the end, it is fucking real. He got dumped
the
badly.
Way he just curls up like that, next to the Exor. He's like...
They nearly broke his back with how much they put onto him. But you know what? He does not have a bad word. he is still so heavily involved in this like franchise. Like he goes to the conventions. He went to the fan fest a few years ago. Like I just love him. I love him, and he's such a great bad guy. You just want to punch his face in.
Yeah, when he came to one of the UK conventions, a lot of the mates, UK Ghostbusters, shout out to Simon and Luke and everyone. Great guys, great cosplayers. They gave him a fruit basket.
Really?
Yeah. I'll have to find the picture, but they gave him a fruit basket.
Done.
It was amazing.
That is awesome. Sorry, I completely forgot all about him, and I just feel he deserves a
Did you
mention.
think of Gozer being the main villain? But no, he is. He's kind of.
He caused it all. Like
it's the way he leans forward and he goes, "What is the magic word, Dr. Venkman?" And he's like, "Please." It's just the way he leans forward. For years, I always thought when I was a kid he was Snagglepuss. If you go back and watch the first Ghostbusters, he sounds like Snagglepuss, that old cartoon, the old Hanna-Barbera voice. But yeah, he's so smarmy.
When I watch when I watch it these days, I like it because there's no doubt Peter Venkman is a complete bellend. He is a knobhead. He's the knobhead.
Oh, he's a sleazeball. Of course he is.
I mean, he's awful.
But when you have these two,
we all them in needles.
And he's got the two biggest dickheads in, like I say, their universe face to face, and like it's almost like a dickhead offish like type thing, saying who will be the biggest bellend.
And unfortunately,
Yeah, my problem with the second one, I think the second one I love the second one. It's got some great one-liners, but it was a rehash of the first. But it is still a great film. Hugo is a brilliant villain. I love that Peter McNichol got to do like his own accent for, he improvised Janosch's accent, and it's got a great kind of, it's a great story. Vigo is so good. I mean, I do feel sorry for the original actor, but yeah, sorry. Same.
Oh no, it's all right. I was just agreeing with you. The backstory of him as well, like that is just so fascinating. Like I wanted to know more. I was like, well, tell me more, please. What's going on?
Well, that was Aykroyd. Dan Aykroyd was involved with that. Like he was so heavily involved with like the backstories and using as much information as possible. But again, them elements were so interesting. It wasn't just like a big ghost. Like it was, like I said, this warlock from the 15th century who destroyed and killed so many people from like I said, the time. But again, it was so rich and well thought out and terrifying.
And when he possesses Ray at the end, that look, them eyes, it really freaks me out.
The makeup, the kind of weird, kind of Rocky Dennis style makeup,
The prosthetics and movie makeup like fascinates the life out of me. So I just love the transformation because it's like, it's eerie. There's no other word to describe how he looks than eerie. And like Dan Aykroyd has this beautifully soft, cute face, and then all of a sudden it just goes to that. That is terrifying.
Yeah, because Dan Aykroyd always, like through his career, he's been renowned for doing like prosthetics and stuff. Look at Coneheads as an example. He always likes to get dressed up in as daft as he can.
Was it Creepshow or was it the Twilight Zone? I think it was the Twilight Zone where he did the wolf. Was it the wolf one? It was like the Pee Wee Herman-esque type the van ride. Was that I don't know. Oh my God, don't come for us, people, but I'm sure it was. I can't remember if it was Twilight Zone when there was the
Creepshow. No, it wasn't Creepshow.
Okay, then it must be Twilight Zone. It must be the end of Twilight Zone or the beginning of Twilight Zone. And it's like almost a Pee Wee Herman kind of esque, like ride. And in the end, he changes into this werewolf, and it's Dan Aykroyd. So yes, he does like prosthetics. He does like makeup. He's not scared to get in there.
I think when you talk about Ghostbusters 2, it's less of a comedy. It's as I said before, it's more of a hard, I would say a hard horror with some of the aspects, like the abduction of Oscar from when the Janosch comes as a kind of like a ghost, is dressed in like the buggy
ghost
and
nanny ghost,
ghost.
That is freaky as well, and like. There's probably a lot of kids from our age group that was scared to go in the bath after the bath scene as well. When the bath come alive and try to eat the baby, that was just horrific for like, especially for people of our age, like watching it for the first time, not seeing special effects or anything like that before.
The only thing that freaked us out was the fact that it was sticky goo. Like I cannot stand the fact of my hands getting messy in that respect and having to, just don't like it. So that's what freaked me out. Not the fact that my bath was going to come and attack us because the goo was in there. Just about my hands getting dirty.
To the tap and wash my hands. Yeah.
I've got to go and wash my hands. And also a very, very young Jason Reitman is the little shit of a kid from the birthday party who tells them that they are
full of crap. Yeah.
My dad says,
you guys are full of crap. Some people have trouble believing. No, my dad said you were full of crap, and that's why you went out of business.
Well, that is the great Jason Reitman, who I think is going to take us into such a wild ride with the next one.
And his sister Catherine's a little girl with a puppy.
I didn't know that. I knew the Jason Reitman one. I didn't know his sister.
Yeah, his sister.
No, I didn't know that either.
It's Always Sunny. Yeah, she's a little girl who they take the puppy away from.
Oh, cool. That's a good one.
Hang on. Which one is his sister from?
Ghostbusters 2. You know where
when they're in the room
tests.
when he's doing all the psychological tests and give her a puppy. Oh, now let's see what her emotions are when they take
away the puppy.
So who's that? That's Jason Reitman's sister.
Catherine, she's in It's Always Sunny. Yeah.
Who is she in Always Sunny?
She's her and her brother. What's they called? It's been a while since I've watched it.
Oh, is it the Catwoman? And she turns herself into a cat later on.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's Jason Reitman's sister. Yeah, Catherine.
Right.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah, I can kind of see it now.
Yes.
Now that I know who she is. Yeah. I can't wait to see what he does. I think he's just the right man to do the job, because let's be honest, what we got in 2016 is not what we were expecting.
Before we jump, I'm just going to go to Ghostbusters 2 because I do have one issue with the film, and again, it's probably I didn't have an issue with it when I was younger, but it's just too cheesy. This element how the city's goodwill and positivity beats the ghost. It's a note that the film didn't need, and it wasn't in tone with the film either. I didn't feel.
I think it was trying to portray New York in a very different light. You have to remember what New York was like back then. It was not a great place to live. Like, watch Paris is Burning. That's from the 80s. And you're not that far away from the timeline of what the Ghostbusters are in. It's not a great place at the time that people wanted to be at. I really genuinely believe it was hey, New York is actually a really good place to be. And that's how I always saw it.
Yeah.
Maybe completely way off the mark.
No, it's just like when I watch it now, it feels quite forced. If that makes sense. It feels like the film kind of flows, but it just feels like that bit was forced in.
Yeah, and Bill and Rick, they were disappointed, Bill and Rick, with the second one because it wasn't they couldn't improvise like they could in the first one.
Yeah, the 90% of the script on the first one is mainly improvisation. They really stuck to it on the second one because there was so many marks that they had to hit of storyline. It just generally couldn't be missed. But if we can go into Answer the Call.
Just one more thing before we move on. Sorry, just one thing I've written.
My God, you really don't want to talk about this, do you?
I don't mind it. I'm going to say positive things about the next one. So
Me too. I generally don't mind it.
But what I've just remembered as well, when I was a kid, this was the first time I saw Ghostbusters at the cinema was Ghostbusters 2. But the big thing that hit me as well, because I didn't notice this before, was the marketing campaign for Ghostbusters 2, because the gadgets and things that came out, like Burger King give away cans of pop with no pop in, where you open it and steam come out.
Wimpy as well, I think they did something.
I know it was Wimpy, yes, because it was Wimpy before it was yes.
Five Alive, if you remember that drink, Five Alive, which was kind of like Umbongo, but more high in kind of vitamin E and all that. And they had the holographic poster. I'm gutted I got rid of it with the holographic stickers you could get of like Vigo and the Scoleri brothers and
Oh my God, that is like my favorite scene in Ghostbusters 2 is the courtroom scene. I would literally just watch that scene and I could turn it off. I adore that bit. Love it.
It's just because it is amazing how it cuts into the brilliant Run DMC song as well. You know, we're the best, we're beautiful, we're back. And it's like, the Scoleri brothers were brilliant design as well. And
excellent. oh God, I've totally forgot about that bit, and it's like my favorite part of the whole film. It's because so much actually goes on in it. Like there's the where they go in the sewers, then there's the court case, then there's the baby getting kidnapped. There's so much to it.
And they get sent to the mental asylum as well because they keep talking
about. Oh my God, yes.
Run by Bill Murray's brother.
Yeah,
Brian Doyle.
Yes,
Murray.
Oh my God, yes, I totally
Bobby
forget
Brown
about
had a
him.
cameo. Bobby Brown had a cameo as well. If you remember, he's at the door. He asked for a proton pack.
The biggest Ghostbuster fan in the world, Peter Mosen, he's in it as well. He's in the restaurant. He gets slime chucked on him.
Oh God, Peter, yeah, he's yeah. And there was another frightening scene from the second one when Janos goes to cry and he's like, "Cooey to Dana's baby," like to Dana in the hallway when his eyes light up. Like that's frightening as well. I love that kind of like you're like, oh my God. That's
I remember
because
I think on ITV that was when when the advert break was. So when you see his eyes lighting up, then he used to go to adverts and you're sitting there going, "What's going to happen? What's going to happen?" Well, yeah, I remember that. But yeah, I didn't want to leave off talking about Ghostbusters 2 without talking about that kind of ghost in the can. That was just awesome.
It's awesome. So I do remember that. So now let's do answer the call, because I don't want this to be excluded. Oh, Martin looks like he's going to get ready to explode.
No. Do you know what? I do like answer the call. I've got merch for it and all that. I do like it. It blows hot and cold. There's some brilliant lines, brilliant moments. I will die on the hill for the soundtrack and the score. Like they are fantastic. But yeah, there's some great jokes in there. But then there's other jokes in there, like the queef joke, which is just terrible. It should have been a Passing of the Torch movie. It should have been.
Yeah.
Now, can you remember this a while ago, where it was going to be a Passing of the Torch, and it was going to be Paul Rudd, Seth Rogen, like them guys, then from that group of core friends was going to be the ones that they passed it to, and it just never progressed. I always thought I was making it up.
No. And then and then they nearly got Emma Stone, but she returned it down because she said she didn't want to do another franchise after doing The Amazing Spider-Man. She'd have worked. Now, I love Melissa McCarthy. She's brilliant in Bridesmaids, brilliant in Spy, really good in brilliant in Mike and Molly, but she just wasn't right for this. Kate McKinnon
she wasn't.
Steals a show. And so does Leslie Jones.
Leslie Jones was worried about phenomenal. I only was worried because her attitude is a little bit off sometimes, and her attitude when they announced Afterlife really put me off a little bit. But I thought her performance as Patty was absolutely brilliant. Kate McKinnon, oh my Jesus, I
it's
so
like a
want
female
to be
Egon, yeah.
But I want to be her so badly. I wanted a necklace, a screw you necklace.
Screw you, yeah.
That scene where she breaks out her weapons at the end, and the music is hitting in the background, and oh my God, I get goosebumps thinking of it. But I could do without Kristen Bell and Melissa McCarthy, because their relationship means absolutely jack shit to me. I really
Kristen Wiig, it was the dance scenes. Yeah, Kristen Wiig was very like some of the lines she delivered were just terrible. Like what is it, Prince Tons? No, more like Prince Tons of Dummies. And it's like, yeah, she was too. I get the awkward side of her. I like that. She's that kind of awkward teenage. Like if you read Ghosts from the Past, they did like a book, and it's a really good book. It explains kind of the why she's Ghost Girl. But yeah, the dance scenes, there were too many in that, and we need to talk about the God of Thunder in there. Yeah. What was your thoughts on Chris Hemsworth and the villain as well?
I thought Chris Hemsworth kind of saved it a little bit. His humour was, like I said, the saving grace for a lot of things. But just before we start talking about like the individual characters, my biggest problem with the film was, as I said, it wasn't as Sam said. If they did a Passing of the Torch film, it would have made more sense. And if they'd stayed away from the original Ghostbuster film, like the Beats, where like they got kicked out of the like where they were doing the work to find their own place.
Oh yeah,
and also even the scares they try to copy, like they try to do the library ghost scene in their own way, but it was in essence the exact same ghost. And then, like say at the end as well, with the giant Ghostbuster sign that they wanted to keep secret that got leaked,
Rowan's
being
ghost,
being the big thing. But again, it was just a giant marshmallow man, which it felt lazy at times. If they kept it if they went way off the beaten track and just went, right, we're going to do a female-led Ghostbusters, which again I'm all for. It could have been, it could work. Do a different story, do a different take on it, do things, and then it would have worked. It was too close to Ghostbusters 1, but not different enough to make it interesting. That was my big problem. But again, as a standalone film, if I hadn't seen Ghostbusters 1 or 2, I would have enjoyed it more because it's fun. There's aspects in it when it's entertaining. Again, some of the humour is not for me, but again, I'm not for like to judge on that type of aspect. But and using the characters of the originals the way they did, it just felt a missed beat. But as you said, Martin, Chris Hemsworth, he saves the film in aspects because his comedy, he's just come off, like say, being Thor. He hadn't done Thor Ragnarok yet, so we didn't know he had his comedy.
He'd done Vacation though. He did the Vacation movie, the kind of sequel with Ed Helms, just called Vacation. So he'd done comedy in that, and he was really good. But yeah, so he showed he'd done some comedy, and like you say, Ragnarok eventually as well. But yeah, there were too many dance scenes, and I think he was awkward, and I like that about him in Answer the Call. It was meant to be, when he's got the glasses where the lens is, and he's dumb, and because I know he could have easily just been there as eye candy, as the dumb eye candy, but he did bring a lot of humour. He was wasted at the end when he was possessed, when he just got them all like doing that with the dancing. It was like, what was that about? Like, they shouldn't have had him dancing. There's too many dance scenes. Just don't watch the extended edition if you've not already seen it.
I've seen it.
Yeah, there's 4 dance scenes. Sorry.
No, don't keep apologising. I generally don't understand where the hate came from, though. I really don't. And it was a lot of hate. And it was a lot of hate. And I remember watching it and just going, do you know what? The first ones, like, my love of Ghostbusters is completely intact. Even though this is not the same universe, I love it. It does not take away from how I feel about it. And to be honest, if you watch it for what it is, it's not a bad film. It's really not that bad.
I've seen worse films.
The jokes blow hot and cold. There's some absolutely brilliant lines in there, but then there's kind of some cringy, like the queef joke, stuff like that. Yeah, and the one-time joke.
I think the relationship between the 4, when the 4 of them together, it wasn't as natural as, which, to be fair, you're not going to get that because the people who they worked with, like say, at the back of the original Ghostbusters, they have done films together, not just like years they've done Saturday Night Live. I know most of these are Saturday Night, but they're different generations, different times. They didn't have that kind of bond, and you couldn't fall in love with it as much. Again,
no, you couldn't.
That's where I think the magic was. You fell in love with the other 2 Ghostbusters. With this one, you just thought, oh, it's entertaining. And they used they used too much special effects. That end bit where the ghosts weren't scary. They were comical, and they looked something like out of a computer game at times.
Mrs. Slimer, I love Robin Shelby. She's fantastic. She played Slimer in Ghostbusters 2, but I love Robin. But yeah, Mrs. Slimer was it was silly, but it was a bit like,
There had to have some element of that world in there, because let's think, like, all the casts in there, Ernie Hudson's in there, Bill Murray, which I was shocked, really shocked that Bill Murray actually went on board with it. But I heard I heard it was just a case of he would do it if it had nothing to do with Pete Venkman.
Yeah,
that was the only clause, was it didn't have anything to do with Pete Venkman.
I heard he went through a divorce and needed to pay for his divorce. So. But that's supposed to be that's why we haven't had Ghostbusters 3 before this, is because he's been the one that put the blocks on for so many years. He didn't want to taint anything that was coming before. I know Dan Aykroyd did actually write the script for Ghostbusters 3.
Hellbound,
that was supposed to be coming out, but he's the one that's always stopped it from happening. So again, I know it's just internet rumors and stuff, but there was things coming out that he was going to do more in movie roles because he was paying that much alimony going out. So that might have played a part why he was in that film.
I think the video game's the third movie.
Yes, it is. Now, don't tell me the ending, because I played it right up to I think I was at the end. My PlayStation 4 cracked out to where we had to wipe it all. So I am now starting it again on my PlayStation 5, which is what I was doing yesterday. So I'm having to go through. So while I'm doing everything that I've already done, I put Ghostbusters on in the background. So I was being very meta. I was playing Ghostbusters while watching Ghostbusters because I can multitask when it comes to video. My husband hates it. He absolutely despises seeing me watch something while I'm playing a video game.
But no, I've not played the game, to be honest. I think trying to think which one I played on. Was it the one that was remastered came out?
Yeah, that's what I'm
10
playing.
years after.
Yes. No, I did try it. I couldn't get past the first Marshmallow Man, so I kind of got pissed off. So
that's where I'm up to right now. He's really hard. It's really hard to beat him. It was written by Dan Aykroyd and Harold Ramis, and the voices are all genuine. You know, there's nothing in there that's fake. It is such a good game if you're a Ghostbusters fan.
Yes.
Even
I might go back to it.
Bill's back, William's back, and so's Annie Potts.
Yes, the amazing Annie Potts, who I just love. I hate her transformation in the second one, even though I own her coat. I've got her leopard print coat. It's just not the Janine you remember from the first one, and it's not going to be the Janine you see in Afterlife either. It's like Janine found the 90s.
Yeah. No, that was always the confusing part to me as well when I got older, because in the first one there was the chemistry between Janine and Egon. You thought there was something there, and then the second one it was her and Lewis, which again didn't quite make sense because she's quite a ballsy, like say, in your face character, and he's so meek and like.
To balance each other out.
But I always wanted to, like say, in my head, I always saw her and Egon, which again, depending on, like say, what happens in Afterlife with the thing, is she going to be, like say, the grandmother, or like say again, is that just me just getting too excited?
Well, no, because is he sleeping with Callie? You know, did he sleep with Callie to have Phoebe and Trevor? You know what I mean? Like, who's created? Because you can see, you know, as you've mentioned in your trailer video, I love your excitement with that song as well. I had to watch that again the other day. Like, just your passion. It's like you're nearly crying. But yeah, it's like
I was crying. It wasn't a nearly. It was I was crying.
McKenna Grace looks is a spit of Harold. Even down to the glasses, yeah.
She is such a phenomenal actress. Like, she is. How old is she? She's got to be in her early teens.
Yeah, she's about 14, 15.
She's Carol Danvers. She's she's in Afterlife. She's in one of my favorite Netflix series, Horton and Hill House, where she plays Theodora, who she is phenomenal at. Yeah. She is just she is just such an incredible actress, so versatile as well. She's also in bloody The Conjuring, one of the Annabelle films. Right. She plays their daughter. Terrible film, but she's really good.
Like I said, I think that's what they've got. So that's what they've got right for the next one. I think the cast and everything has been down to the T. So before moving on to the next like say Afterlife, Martin, you had a question you wanted to ask us?
Yeah, what did you reckon to Rowan in Answer the Call?
Awkward. I think that was the best way to describe it, just awkward.
Too much of a villain. Yeah. Like, look at my master plan.
Swirling mustache.
Yes, it's very much. It was too cartoonish for me, but I didn't.
Literally.
But very cartoonish for us.
I thought it was a bit of a slap in the face to like people like us, like nerds and stuff like that, because it portrayed him like a little bit of a loner and geeky. So was then going to that was just my take. Again, I might have been just like taken too far, looking too far and getting taken personally.
Getting offended by his geekness being
exploited by someone.
You were the one sending Paul Feig threats, weren't you, Paul? That's what it is. You were like, you triggered my nerdism.
I wasn't offended because there was all women. I quite like that aspect, but the fact that they made a nerd a villain, that pissed us off. Yes, so that triggered us.
That's where I draw the line.
Yes, us nerds get a bad rap too much.
Me too. he's not. He's just not in the same league as what you had with Goza and obviously William Atherton and Vigo in the second one. He's just not in their league. And I really hate the fact that at the end you hear them say, "Who's Goza?"
Yeah.
No.
Or who's Zool? Yeah.
Zool, that's
during
it.
the recording,
Zool,
yeah.
you didn't want to be included in the universe, then don't include stuff from that universe.
Yeah.
Like you wanted it to be separate, then keep it separate.
Yeah, I think as well, I didn't quite understand the technology behind it as well, like ghost bombs or ghost things that were creating like that element. They try to make it either too complicated or not make it fun.
The ghost shredder. I hate that when they're on Times Square and it's evaporating all the ghosts. Like that was horrible. Yeah, and then
what's wrong with a normal proton pack and like using all these bloody? I just don't know. I'm with you on that one.
Yeah, like say keep it simple. That's what the old two Ghostbusters were. There was something getting possessed, which again you can understand. There was a magic painting, which again, it's not out there. It's not stupid, but it's an easy thing. But these ghost machines or ghost clocks, and where he had to die to basically operate it, and it was just like, oh, this is getting too far. But I think that was the rock
concert.
Yeah, the Ozzy Osbourne cameo.
Yeah.
Oh my good God, no. Mm-hmm. Do you know what? The more I talk about it, the more I'm like, I can pick apart it. But if I sat and watched it, I don't mind it. Like I just watch it. But when you talk about it, you don't have to get into the nitty gritty of what you really didn't like about it.
That's the thing, because when you think about the films like Ghostbusters 1, again, it might be just for rose-tinted glasses. I can't see any problems or bad things about that film.
Perfection.
Yeah, Ghostbusters 2 has a few little...
I remember last time you talked about it, Paul. You actually said, I forgot what it was now during the trailer talk, but you mentioned there was something you didn't like about the first film.
Possibly, but I say, I'm trying to think now.
What did you say? Oh my God, don't you just hate the fact that someone who's actually on here has listened to us before and can catch us out on shit?
Calling us out for the bullshit.
You lie! I was trying to lie to impress you.
But when you try and with this watching it recently, I did enjoy it more than it's one of the aspects. But
everyone's perfect. Everyone brings a rare game in the first one.
The second one, again, there's a few little sloppy bits, but again, as I mentioned, the feel good factor feels forced. That, like I said, that's me nitpicking. But the third one, if we can call it a third film or like an extended version, it kind of just there's too many elements that didn't work. But again, if you sit down and watch it to shut your brain off and just say it's a fun film. It's what a film should be, but it doesn't take you out of the it doesn't put you in that fantasy land. Like you want to be part of that world, if that makes sense.
Some of the designs was good. Like the X4 one was a really nice version of it.
I didn't mind
some of the ghosts, like Lady Aldridge, the ghost that was a nod to the Scoleri brothers in the sewer, the homeless ghost. Even Slimer and Lady Slimer looked fun, and the Mr. Staple Macy's Day parade balloon that got killed, and even Rowan's ghost was cute. The version of the logo, logo.
I think it was like what I said before. It's kind of like a misstep. It could have been something that was great, but it just was meh.
It blows hot and cold.
Yeah, I think we were riding a lot on it because Paul Feig is Bridesmaid was one of the funniest films I've seen for a very long time.
Yes.
And Melissa McCarthy in Spy is hands down it honestly, I wet my pants laughing at that film because Jason Statham is a genius in it. I don't particularly go out and watch a Jason Statham movie, but honestly, just perfect in that. And I think we were riding a lot on the fact that Paul Feig was going to bring the funny, but the delivery of the funny just didn't quite land with the people you were expecting it to.
I think it's a different type of humour because with Ghostbusters it wasn't really slapstick. And Bridesmaid, as good as it is quite a slapstick type of humour. It's like fart dick jokes, and that's not what Ghostbusters.
Well, the scene in the bridal store is genius.
Yeah,
absolutely. Even to this day, But Maya Rudolph in the street,
Hey, Maya Rudolph, so funny. She should have been in it. She should have been in Answer the Call because I think that her delivery is just spot on. And it's such a shame because I really do. I love Melissa McCarthy, but I do get what you're saying. It just didn't quite hit. And her relationship with Kristen Wiig, you would expect them to be on fire because of Bridesmaids, and it's not.
Yeah.
And it's not even the backstory. There's just something missing.
I would probably say if I was going to give it a mark out of 10, it would probably be a 5.
Oh, yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. Maybe a 4.5. Maybe.
4.25.
And
I'm normally the harsher one, to be honest.
I don't ever want to say I hate it because I don't hate it.
No.
But when you do talk about it, you do start to remember the nitty gritty of it. I think what you're saying when you're saying hate, I think hate's a strong word. I think disappointment is probably the best way to use it. I was really had high hopes. Like, come on, show the motherfuckers that this can be pulled off, and it just didn't quite get there, did it? I mean, what did the trailer was one of the worst disliked trailers on YouTube ever.
Yeah,
it's like
the hate they got. Yeah, but the hate they got for it was awful. Like Leslie Jones being compared to Harambe and Paul Feig getting death threats. There was no need for that misogyny.
No.
But that's the problem with fandom. That's the problem with fandom these days. That they think they own the property and they take it to lengths where it's not for just you; it's for everyone to share. And some people might have seen, like, without again, not to get on my soapbox, but there's probably these little girls seen Ghostbusters and Answer the Call.
Oh, seen the cosplayers,
and got into Ghostbusters because of that, because they could relate more. Which that's what people don't understand, and that's where the hate comes from. That's why I get feel quite angry about, because like, as you probably said, like, listen to the podcast before, I very rarely use the word hate, especially only when it comes to Jack Nicholson and the Joker.
We wouldn't even do a podcast on the movies we hate because we didn't want to use the word hate in the sentence. That's how much we don't want to bring hate into the community. We've seen it in the Star Wars community very badly with what's her name? Who played Rose?
Oh, Rose Tico, yeah. Kelly Tran. Yeah. Kelly Marie Tran.
Tran, that's it. We saw what happened to her, Daisy Ridley. Then you go into Marvel, and DC fans are, they are something to be reckoned with. I thought, honestly, but the thing is, when Star Wars, when all that kicked off, that was the level of toxicity I never wanted to see in
the original prequel trilogy as well. Yeah.
I was probably, to be fair, though, I was at the age where I was probably one of them, because when I went to see the pictures to see Phantom Menace, or if we had the internet back then, the shit would have went down. I don't think it would have been as nasty. That's the problem, though, Paul. People get nasty and personal, and that's the difference between not liking something and being an absolute. Her being a dickhead about it, and this is why we're very conscious on keeping that out of this. We don't. No one's right or wrong. Like, we are the new day of podcasts, the power of positivity.
Yes, and on that cheery note, let's go into Afterlife. And actually, I'm going on a little bit of a rant. Did I say that? Oh my God, I haven't even watched the second series yet. I know, I'm disgraceful. I just want to, Leslie Jones. Now, I will never understand what that woman went through when she was doing Answer the Call, because Jesus, it was horrible to watch. It must have been horrible for her to experience. But what she said,
to a dead gorilla,
oh my gosh, just awful. But what she said about the new film really curled my toes.
Go on.
Because she got on our little platform, and she turned around and said, "It's utter bullshit. Can't believe you're not including us. Blah de blah." And I thought, hang on a minute. You didn't want to be a part. This has nothing to do with the universe that your movie is set in. This is from the original. This is where it all stems from. It's coming from the son of the director of the first one. How dare you get on your high horse about not being included in something that you are not personally a part of? That might just be my opinion, but it is.
Well,
She really did.
You can't, no, but it's like with a sequel, you know, with Answer the Call, so you can't have lines like mass hysteria and the logo and little nods to that and like the hook and ladder firehouse, include all that, and then it not be a passing of the torch and not have it be that kind of, you know, try and just be another movie, you know, and then say, oh, why don't you why don't you include us? I mean, Dan Schoenig and the rest of the amazing IDW team did the crossover comic books, which were amazing. But it wouldn't have worked in the movie. What, you know, if Paul wasn't going to do a Passing of the Torch movie, why would you include them? They're not part of that universe. Like he's not counting in the video game either. The video game isn't canon in the new movie.
No, that's why I quite like the idea of this one, because it from what I've seen, I don't know if it's taken into effect Ghostbusters 2. I know it's definitely leading in from Ghostbusters 1, but are we getting like a Halloween situation where anything that came after the first Ghostbusters didn't happen?
No, they're including the second one.
Yeah.
That's canon. Yeah.
Because from what I've seen in the trailers and what it's been read, the clips that show the Ghostbusters are from New York with the Stay Puft.
Well, think about it as well. As we mentioned earlier, it does include the sequel. I mean, where is Ray working at the end of the trailer?
Fair enough. I bow down to your knowledge.
No, it's canon.
It's definitely canon. It has to be, because I don't think they would think that way to exclude it. It's not a bad movie. It's not. They might have been slightly disappointed with the outcome, but it's still there.
How much do you think we're going to find out about what's went on since then as well? Because I know it's going to be a new. I hope so, because I'm interested to know what Ray's been up to, what Peter's been up to, and what Egon did as well. That would be like interesting things to me. Like the kids finding out that information, and like say unlocking something in Zool, or is Zool already there? Is that why Egon's been building that amazing, scary looking, spooky house? Because he knew something was coming. I want to live in.
Yeah, that I so want to live in.
Will older Venkman be settled with Dana?
She's meant to be in it, though. She has. I don't know if it's confirmed, but I've heard that she's meant to be in it, Sigourney Weaver.
She's not going to be in it. If she could be in Answer the Call, she is definitely, and she had no qualms of being in that. She would definitely be in this. I cannot not see her doing it.
Do you know what else they need to do? Include Will Dushendorf as well. Have a little cameo of Trevor just chatting to Oscar.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
Yes. Oh, that would be. Do you know what? That would be such a tribute as well to for his brother as well. I think that would be lovely. I never even crossed my mind, because why would he not? We've never seen him like out of being a baby.
And there was talk years ago, a few years back, of Sigourney saying they were doing it where Oscar was going to be a Ghostbuster.
Why would he not? Like, I like that. That's really good. That's giving me goosebumps.
Or, because as Martin said before, we know one of the gatekeepers, potentially Paul Rudd. We don't know who.
Callie will be the other one. I think Callie will be the other one, because you see him on the date on the trailer. So
right.
I think she'll be the gatekeeper and Paul Rudd the keymaster.
Oh my God, it's so exciting. We haven't got that long either. This has been, well, hopefully, fingers crossed, let's touch wood, everyone, because this is third time lucky that this is going to be released. But the best part about it is when he had the opportunity to delay, he did. And he went in there with a fine tooth comb, and even the sound, he went in and quality checked the sound and made sure everything is crisp perfect, because do you know why? He had the fucking time to do it. Why didn't DC follow in that line with Wonder Woman?
We've had that talk. But It's interesting to say because I normally get worried when films do get delayed. But this one I'm not for some reason.
No, because it was unexpected. Like this isn't how it was meant to go down, was it? We weren't meant to have the year that we had. And to be honest, I don't think it would have made much difference. I just think because he had the time, he could just make little changes. You know, there is some things where you're probably thinking, oh, I wish I did that, or I wish I did this. And he had the opportunity to go, oh, I can do this and that.
Playing devil's advocate as well, if it did came out when it was meant to, we probably would be talking about Ghostbusters 4. Probably it's getting made right now. That's the only
With it being delayed, though, it kind of works out really well because McKenna Grace and Finn Wolfhard and Logan Kim and Celeste O'Connor, they're going to be older. So that gives it that extra time to kind of do another one pretty sooner.
And they've just finished Stranger Things as well, so there's no conflict in like say scheduling and things because there's no way this film is not going to do well enough for another film.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh.
I would be shocked if we didn't see another incarnation, even if we didn't get the original guys back. I think we are going to fall so madly in love with that new cast where you're not going to give a shit.
No, they've got to come back.
Yeah,
they've got to come back.
There's two big films that I'm so looking forward to this year: Ghostbusters and Spider-Man. Them are two going to be the two big ones that blow. I know you're thinking about Halloween, but I'm sorry, but Halloween won't do as well as these two.
No.
No, Spider-Man for me as well.
Yeah. No, I totally forgot about Spider-Man because all I'm riding on is that Ghostbusters is going to be the film of the year. I don't actually care if it's shit.
It'll have that look of Jason Reitman's previous movies, that kind of feel, but it'll also have the heart of the originals.
Yeah.
That's what I get from it.
Back. Yeah, that's what I get from it. Like the marketing campaign for this film has been done perfectly from the initial tease where you said the lightning hitting in the old barn and the little blanket coming up and then showing the back of the one. That was done
so much.
Such a good teaser. Then
they had the little bit of Ernie, and the little bit of Elmer Bernstein's score as it had that lightning hitting. His score is phenomenal for the first movie.
And then the first trailer we got as well when you heard the voiceover as well. Call it fate. Call it luck. Call it karma. And that was just hitting the right beats as well, like getting goosebumps just thinking about it as well. The only thing, again, I know it's going to be the biggest toy going out. I am a little bit worried about Tiny Mini Marshmallow Man being a little bit of a gimmick, but again, it's Paul Rudd, so I can't hate Paul Rudd. It's
Grogu. It's this year's Grogu, like Sammy said. Yeah.
It is, and I will honestly, if they, I'm not ashamed. I am nearly 40 years old, and last year for Christmas, I got a Grogu Build-A-Bear, and I don't care.
We've got the animatronic one and the cuddly one. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it.
But have you seen? There's a few people in the Facebook group that do 3D printing, and they've actually 3D printed a few of the Ghostbusters marshmallow men. So you might want to go on and message a few people.
Oh,
I pre-ordered that box of them.
Oh, see, I've stayed away because I'm not in a position to buy anything at the moment because I have nowhere to put it. I have held. Well, this room is, and I say it every week. It's going to become a theme. This room will eventually be done out. That bed will be gone. Them shelves will be up. But it's coming a running theme now, Paul. I feel like I'm having to justify my bedroom every time.
Your room will
eventually all these nerdy guests coming on and showing you up there, Sam. That's the thing.
Yeah, it'll just be another Detolf every time you appear on the camera. It'll just be, there's another Detolf, something to IKEA again.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. That's
your room's going to look like Jason Fitzsimmons from Ghostbusters News. Have you seen his room?
Yes, I have.
Insane. Yeah.
Unreal. I love the fact that he knows these people. Like, it's so great.
He gets sent so much free stuff. Yeah, it's like that's what. Yeah, I'm jealous.
We need some. We need free stuff. We're not getting free stuff.
Exactly. Where's all my free stuff? I'm only joking. I'd be mortified if someone said
that's your challenge now. You've got to fill that room. That's your goal. Fill the room behind you. Fill the space. If there's a space, fill it.
just a little spoiler for next week's podcast. I have heard rumours that our next guest are going to get dressed up for the occasion.
Ooh.
With it being Vampire
What
Week.
were we talking about? Oh, right, vampires. Okay, I forgot what we were talking about there for a second. Okay.
You know what?
I was like, what are we doing?
Well, when we organise it now.
I think I picked that week too. I think that was my week to pick.
Well, October's been, like I say, one of the ones we've tried to plan out for most. But yeah, I will guess for next week said she's going to get dressed up as a vampire. So hopefully, if she's listening, she'll not bottle out of it now.
You better not.
She'll just get some plastic teeth you got as a kid. That'll be it. That'll all be. That's my cosplay. Budget cosplay.
If you've seen her post on the group, you know she'll want.
No.
Yeah.
I used to absolutely hate them plastic teeth because I have a sticky out tooth. It never used to fit in.
Do you remember the witch's fingers? The plastic
yeah,
witch's
the green
fingers?
ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought I was
fall off after 10 seconds.
You have to like
blood in a bin bag.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had to like wet your finger and then put them on so they would stick in place. Oh, I
Bin
thought I
bag
was
as well.
absolutely yeah. Bin bag, turnip. Let's not forget the turnip instead of a pumpkin. Did nobody else used to do?
Used to
How hard?
end up for 4 hours trying to do it and just have tiny little
How
holes in.
hard? How much must your parents love you in order to do that? Because that would never.
No, my parents never used to do it. They used to give us a spoon and a turnip and get on with stuff.
Oh my God, no, mine did.
Oh, you were spoiled. You would have to put your string through the lid to try and get the lid to stay on as well. No, yeah. If you're listening to us that are not in the northern area, this is what Halloween was for us. or American listeners, I'm sorry.
We don't have pots of pissing. We couldn't afford pumpkins.
We didn't
have tin baths.
Oh,
Times were hard in our house.
Funny enough, Martin, I lived in Manchester for a while, a few years ago, and your accents just bring us back all the things that I get into so many arguments with people in Manchester.
No, it's, we get told we sound like Peter Kay down here.
You do. Honestly, it took everything in us not to turn around and go, Charlie FM coming in your ears when you said where you were from. Where you said where you were from, so it really took a lot for us not to do it. So sorry that I did.
It's been a pleasure having you, Martin. I know you probably won't come back on again now because of Sam's offended.
No, I'd love to. No, it's been an honour. Thank you. Honestly, it's been amazing.
When we do the Afterlife podcast, I would love to have you back on. Like when we do the next one.
We'll probably will do like really because there's a few films that when we see we'll do, like I say, as Sam likes to call them, mini-swords.
Mini-sword.
Mini-swords.
Yes.
There we go. Name of the podcast right there, Paul.
Yeah.
Love it.
But it's one of them questions. Like, remember when you watched Fanboys, and at the end of Fanboys, it's like say when they're sitting down in the cinema and seeing the Phantom Menace, and they go turn to each other. What happens if the film's shit? What happens if it's going to be bad? I'm not ready for it to be bad, Sam. I can't.
It's not going to be. One thing I'm really excited for is like you know with the first one where you got the librarian and then the second one you've got the carriage. I'm really excited. Never mind the rest of the film. I'm really excited to see how they set up the theme, how the theme kicks in at the start. What's going to happen? Is it just going to be something in the farmhouse? What is it?
Yeah, I get that, but I'm also ready for change in a way, and I'm ready for something new and different. We've got new people, new characters coming into it, so I'm all ready for the nostalgia of it, but I'm also ready for the new, because this is what we wanted. We wanted a passing of the torch, and we're getting it in some form of a way. So I am really excited. I generally don't think that I am going to hate this. But my God, I will not be coming on the podcast if I do. Just saying.
It's going to be different. It will feel different. They'll have different tones to it.
Yeah, I would love it. I know it sounds a bit strange if Goza and Zul wins. What would happen?
Bloody hell! What is wrong with you? You bloody saying Jamie Lee's going to die in the next one, and then now you're ready for school and
no. But what?
What?
As you said, it's a passing of the torch. The old guys come back.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that the bad guys get to win.
but that makes it
just means they
interesting.
retire. No, the kids aren't going to be strong enough at the end for Gauze's Temple. So when they fight somebody like Shandor, so they're going to have. That's where you see, Bill and Peter, Egon, and Ray. Sorry, Peter, Ray, and Winston won't just be like, "Hi, bye." They'll. I think they'll strap on the jumpsuits again and the packs, and they'll help.
100%. I think they're going to be there for a good period. I don't think we're going to get like a 5-minute carry. I think we're going to get at least a quarter of the film with them helping.
I think
it'll be their goodbye, because they're too old to do it now. So they'll just maybe have one last battle and then that's it, and then pass.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And I think we're going to get a lot of fan service in this, because it is a long time coming. I think that, and I don't feel that that's a bad thing, because if we do get another one, then we've had that moment, and we can then move on to something different.
Yeah. And Phoebe, and you see the kids seem to kind of be comfortable with the tech already. Phoebe in the gunner seat, where she's kind of using the proton stream to catch Muncher, and then you've got the RTC, which Trevor releases the little trap
on the
from
wheels.
The back of the car. Yeah.
That's a brilliant idea. Why was that never thought about? A trap on wheels? Come on. That just as a toy, I want that now.
It comes out of the back of the Lego one. It's mint. It's literally, it's got like you press the button.
Please don't go and get it.
No, it's too fragile. No, it's too fragile. Yeah. But it's a cool little contraption that Egon's been working on gadgets over the years, and that's cool. You can tell he's kind of been working on new, like the RTC and the gunner seat, because the gunner seat, like you mentioned in the Afterlife trailer, I think it is a nod to the real Ghostbusters.
Yeah, that was when it was first introduced. I remember that because when I first saw the trailer, I went, they've done real Ghostbusters. This is amazing. I just don't hope, because what was the one that came out after the real Ghostbusters? I know it didn't touch on
Extreme Ghostbusters.
Extreme Ghostbusters, where Egon was
which was a passing of the torch again as well.
Yeah. But again, you mentioned as well some of the comics that came out. It's been quite interesting, because there've been so many crossovers. There was even crossovers between Ghostbusters and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles at one point. I remember seeing. I'm sure there's a Batman crossover. Or am I totally making that up, or would I just dream it?
No, there was Batman and Turtles. Yeah, but the mini puffs aren't going to be, going back to the mini puffs, they're not going to be just this year's Grogu. No. They're going to be introduced as Stay Puft. They won't wheel Stay Puft that again. How can you introduce them again? There's already that mural on the wall. If you notice, he's kind of, when they're going around the corner in the XO1 of the trailer, he's kind of like the Stay Puft marshmallows. So there'll be them, and they're not going to wheel Slimer out again. So that's why they brought Muncher out. Because if you look at the merchandise, it is very much. You've got the kids, you've got all the toys like the Fright Features ones that Sammy mentioned, and and there's a lot of like the Ghost Popper, and there's a new Proton pack out and things like that, because they're bringing in a new generation of kids. A lot of obviously adults are going to buy it.
I would be disappointed if they didn't actually bring Slimer in. I want Slimer. I know Muncher's going to be there, but I want a cameo from Slimer. I'll say that might be a small little disappointment, even if it's a little nod to Slimer. I think that would be quite a good aspect.
Yeah, it would be a nice thing to bring into it. It's been so much fun. I really enjoyed this episode.
I love the love for it. It's childlike, and it is, both of you. It is childlike, and that's what it's about. It evokes memories. You see the theme tune, and you see the theme tune, you see the logo, and the logo for me, it reminds me of having the lunchbox. It reminds me of eating the crisps as a kid, and the ghost jellies, and buying the toothpaste and all that. And it makes you look at the logo, and it's like, the Slimer toothpaste, and you look the logo. It's like, like somebody said about, it's not as big as say Star Wars, because Star Wars is like the biggest movie franchise. But Ghostbusters, answer the call. It was a shame, because the fandom kind of reared its ugly head, which we've never had for years. It's always been a peaceful franchise. It's not as big as franchise as say Star Wars or Marvel or DC, but like the theme song, you hear those first few chords, and it makes you feel like a child every time. You see that intro. Sorry, go on.
Oh no! I keep doing that to you. I'm so sorry.
No, it's all of us talking. I don't want to just be about. It's all three of us talking.
I was just going to get in about the fandom and how they did, they reared their ugly head at a time when we'd not been, the community had not been heard from before, and then this is how people get to meet them. But for all you got that side, you really got the good guys, like the good guys of the fandom coming out. And this was at a time when that Ghostheads documentary came out, and for all it has its flaws, it's still a very positive message of real Ghostbuster fans.
Yeah.
And what they do for their communities, especially in America. Like, it's not over here. I don't know, because I've never joined or getting involved with a Ghostbuster genuine community before. But over there, they do a lot of charity work. Sorry, my voice is starting.
No, we do some over here as well. There's a massive UK division, and a lot of them are great guys. And they maybe don't do as much for charity as in, say, they just turn up at conventions and things. And you've got like your Yorkshire Ghostbusters, you've got your Manchester Ghostbusters, your Welsh Ghostbusters, etc. So there's divisions all around Britain as well. But yeah, I know Ghostheads kind of showed that, where they do stuff for charity. Yeah. And you've got Tom Burkhart, who's kind of like, I think he's like the main. He's the one who gets invited to everything. Yeah, he even went to like EctoCon a couple of years ago. Not EctoCon, sorry.
So he messaged me.
Tom's messaged you saying what?
He is the guy who he watched it with his grandfather. He's like the main focus, isn't he?
Yeah,
that's the same.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
When he goes into his shed and he's got the merchandise. Yeah. And you've got Luna Mars as well. She had a cameo in. She's like a female. Like a kind of like a Scar Ghostbusters fan, and she had a cameo in Answer the Call. She's pretty cool, and yeah, like you say, like what's his face in the first movie,
He's
and
a character.
Yeah,
put it that way.
Yeah,
definitely a character.
Did you watch the Reunited Apart as well last year with Josh Gad?
Paul
Paul
didn't watch that.
I'd never see. That's one of the things. I've never been a big fan of the Reunited ones. So
I bawled my eyes out like a little baby throughout the whole thing.
And it wasn't just the main guys. Yeah, you had like Timothy, kind of cellist. Yeah, even you can keep the $5, Mister, and Jennifer Runyon as well. And
it was so special, and it was lovely to see.
I can't get away with them. I don't know why. I just can't get away with them.
It was lovely to see Bill Murray address Ray. I want to call him Ray. Dan Aykroyd is like Danny, and like they had like such. You could tell the genuine friends, and I'm so glad he got to make his peace with Harold Ramis before he passed. Really,
it was sad. Creative.
It was sad, but I'm really glad he got that, because he did an award show. If you remember the Scream Awards, the horror
Scream Awards, where he picked up the award for best movie for Zombieland. Yeah,
he was very emotional throughout that, because I don't think it was long after he passed.
No.
Very, very emotional. God bless Bill Murray.
He's a difficult character, but
I think he's had his problems, but he's, like I say, I'll always love his films, like Stripes, Meatballs, Caddyshack. Like I say, always top Bill Murray films as well. But
St. Vincent is an underrated. Yes, Groundhog Day.
Yes, it is. Love that film.
With Melissa McCarthy as well.
It was probably the first film I ever saw her in.
She did a really good dramatic role. That's what I mean. She needs to, because she's always played that female Kevin James. Kevin James is always that like fat best friend, and it's like Kevin James was brilliant in King of Queens when he was doing straight comedy, but then like when he's just doing that the fat best friend, it's like falling over. Melissa McCarthy does that, and I'm like, that sticks old now.
Made a mistake getting friends with Adam Sandler. That was the problem.
Yeah. Actually, I like grown-ups. So are we going to wrap this up, kiddos?
Yeah, like I say, it's been a good talk. I hope you enjoyed it, Martin. Thank you very much for coming on.
I loved it. Thank you.
Thank you for listening as well. Like I say, it means the world to me and Sam. Like I say, and that message upon Facebook the other day, you did actually make Sam cry, so just to let you know.
A message
Sam's passion is what we do, both here as well. It is generally not brown nose, and just to see that passion, even just little things like tears, it's what it's about. It evokes feelings. That's what being passionate about something is about. And
Paul,
yeah,
that's what being a nerd is.
this is what brought Paul to this. And the minute he put on the internet that he was going to start, I was straight on messaging him saying, I need to be a part of this. Like, I've done this line of work before. I loved it, but I was working with a bunch of Americans, which is no offense to Americans, but we are very different in culture. And it was just a breath of fresh air that someone who I've known since I was 16 was wanting to do something I'd wanted to do anyway.
And this is, like I say, again, not to say anything, I've not had a clue what I've been doing with any of this. All this is just completely fluke. Like I say,
well, you've done a good job in fluking it, mate.
But yes.
No, you are the next Geek Asylum. You are. You're the next Geek Asylum. Like you see, you know Kerry King Neal and yeah, she's Geordie, but yeah, Kerry and the Geek Asylum are a massive group, and you guys are growing to that. You know,
awesome.
You're getting bigger up by the day.
Very nice. So yeah, like I said before, great. Thank you for, like I said, listening, Martin, joining, and even getting involved with the group as well. Like I said, it's been a big notice that how much you have been getting involved. Really, and it does mean a lot. Like I said, to me personally, when people do take a little bit of weight off my shoulders. I know, like I said, there's others like Donna is absolutely huge with her. Like I said, and helping the group grow as well. She's been a massive part, which is always great. And like
she's amazing.
And she is actually next week's guest as well. So she's making a return to talk about vampires because she wanted to do something a bit more Halloween-y, shall we say. Like I say, in the next couple of weeks as well, we've got a few guests coming up. We've got the amazing Kelly Longhorn coming back from the comedy episode. He's coming back and joined by one of the regular posters, Kelly Moon, who is the queen of Halloween. Sorry, Sam. She's been a Salem and everything, so I'm looking forward to some good stories from them. So yes, again, thank you for everyone who's joined the Facebook group. If you'd like to say find us, it's the Facebook community, Nerdy Up North community. We're on Instagram, iTunes, Spotify, Amazon Music, and also YouTube. Please subscribe, ring the bell, as Jake keeps on telling us to tell people to do. I don't know what that means, but
it means you get notified. It means you get notified every time there's a new video.
All right, cool. Nice to do that, please. But yeah. Again, like I say, big thank you, Martin. Like I say, we've enjoyed having you on, so I hope you've enjoyed it as well.
Oh, it's been a blast. Thank you.
Cool. And again, we'll get you on again soon, especially when we start talking about the next Ghostbusters after we've seen it, and hopefully our views haven't changed. But same bat time, same bat channel.
Stay nerdy, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Fill that room, Sam. Fill that room. Fill that.